one of your key, points in the book, which is this isn't about just taking a new tool or piece of technology and all of a sudden you're going to go from being a C player to an A player in terms of your hiring ability and maturity. It's about behavior change, and it's about as you talk later in the book about changing minds. Like how you've got to show them this isn't just about data. It's not just about tools. You've got to show insights. You've got to show the why this works. And so I think if you've got some level of maturity in other areas and you're thinking more uh, in a more sort of system thinking kind of way about how all the pieces fit together, you're going to be in a uh, much better position. So this,
I wish the tool was that good, but the truth is it does take
yeah,
the commitment of the organization to say like, hey, we're actually going to treat hiring as a first class concept and say we want to be as good at hiring as we are at any other business function.
yeah,
And the unlock that happens when your CTO or your head of sales realizes that like, hey, the number one thing that I can do to hit my plan is really about people stuff. It's not about my personal ability to sell or my personal ability to program. It's about my ability to hire and bring and create a great culture and create a great team.
right,
And at that moment, like you ask really different questions and you want really different things from your recruiters. And then you have the ability to do things in a really different way and start to differentiate yourself as a company through your hiring process.
right. No, absolutely. So how do you think about the broader sort of talent landscape? Putting these pieces together and just really thinking holistically about the talent that you need to move your organization forward and taking that sort of 360-degree view of where talent may exist and whether that's human talent or at this point now we've got about digital labor as well. And so how do you think about the broader sort of landscape?
In terms of the broader like talent tools landscape of the different tools across those things, or just more generally, like if you're sitting there as a chief people officer, how do you think about this broadly?
Um, Probably more towards the latter, but I'm just thinking about like different hidden talent pools. You've got
Yeah, yeah.
potentially, freelance people to pull in, contingent workforce, which might still be owned by, procurement
Yeah,
and a supply chain kind of
yeah,
sense, as if people are, widgets. And then you've got, of course, your internal
yeah.
talent already that could have transferable skills to shift and reskill and things like that.
I mean, I think it feels like we're actually in the middle of a great uh, shaking up of all of that, right? If you put all these different trends together of the ability to work remotely or like not from the home office, and as much as people say,
Mm.
oh well, like we're gonna get people returned to office, it's like there's still more flexibility. Like this, the cat's out of like the horse is out of the barn at some level that people have realized that you can be productive from a lot of places, which changes where you can recruit. You're not having to only recruit from the people who are within commutable distance to your office.
Yep.
The ability to have more flexibility, like when we talk about a bunch, is moms coming back to the workforce after being like a stay-at-home mom for 15 years, huge amounts of talent, and saying, but I need extra flexibility. And used to be like, oh, well, that's a problem. And now it's like, that's not a problem. And there's a
Yeah.
great, hugely underappreciated talent pool there that I think more companies are waking up to realize like, oh, there's like a talent arbitrage thing here where there's like really valuable people who are undervalued. Um, then to your point, like gig labor, the notion that there may be more things that you can do with contractors is disrupts things. And then geographically, if you're saying, well, it used to be that everybody had to be there in the office, but now you're even going farther and saying, well, if it's a totally remote team or I can make a remote team work, why do they have to be in the U.S.? Can I go to a more low cost place? And it used to be like, oh, you'd only outsource for like low skill things. Now it's like, oh no, there's skilled people all over the world.
That's right.
Um, and then the next one is AI, right? If you're saying like, hey, are more things possible? Like, are more jobs going to get disrupted? And I think everybody's still trying to figure out how much of that's true or which jobs or to what extent. But all of these things are making um, the question of like, what's your talent strategy way less clear than it probably would have been 20 years ago,
Yeah.
right? There's way more decisions to make here and ability to be creative about how are you going to do these things.
Yeah. Absolutely. So
Companies are taking really different choices right now. There's some companies who are saying the thing I'm aspiring to with hiring is this real high end thing. I want to have a great candidate experience. I want to be able to attract the very best people. I want to build this whole community. I want to be able to be predictable and fast. I want to have more fairness, create more diversity in my organization, and really say hiring is going to be a differentiator for my company. Even in a moment where I say, well, I might be hiring less, it's like, yeah, but each of the hires we make are going to be that much more important. And there's another set of companies who are saying, we're hiring less, so let's spend a lot less money. And lots of people are applying, so you don't have to try as hard, right? And you can treat people badly because they're really desperate for a job. And they're two really different perspectives, right? And I think the candidates notice it. I think the employees notice it. And so that's what you see sorting out right now is there's a bunch of companies who are really on that side. They're awesome, and that's who everybody wants to discover, and that's who everybody wants to work for. And it feels different to work at those companies. And there's a bunch of other companies who are taking this moment to say, well, what can we get away with? How badly can we behave and still make our hires? And probably want to work at those companies less, right?
yeah, no, that's a tricky thing because yeah, I was thinking about this when you were talking earlier about just providing that great candidate experience and whether or not that's actually reflective. Is that emblematic of the larger, how they treat their employees and what it's like to
I
work there,
mean,
or these are two different worlds that you shouldn't conflate.
I conflate them. I think I think if as a candidate, if in the moment where they're trying to sell you and want to take a job with them,
Yeah,
they're treating you poorly, why do you think that after you take the job, they're going to treat you better?
yeah,
Like, right? When somebody shows you who they are, like, believe them, you know?